What if I told you that 4 simple words could change your entire life forever? Right now, millions of people around the world are feeling scared, worried, and alone. They're facing problems that seem too big to handle. But hidden in an ancient song written by a young shepherd boy over 3,000 years ago are 4 magical words that have the power to turn fear into courage, worry into peace, and loneliness into love. These 4 words are, "The Lord is my shepherd." But wait, before we dive into this life-changing secret, I need you to do something important. Hit that like button right now, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell, because what you're about to learn about Psalm 23 will blow your mind and change how you see God forever. You don't want to miss any of our powerful stories that can transform your life. Now, let me tell you something incredible. Psalm 23 isn't just a pretty poem people read at funerals. It's actually a secret code that unlocks God's supernatural protection, provision, and peace in your daily life. King David, the man who wrote this psalm, knew something that most people today have forgotten. He discovered that when you truly understand what it means to have God as your shepherd, you become absolutely unstoppable. But here's the mystery that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Why did David choose the word shepherd to describe God? He could have called God a king, a warrior, or a mighty ruler. But he chose shepherd. And this choice reveals the most beautiful secret about how God wants to take care of you. Let me share the complete Psalm 23 with you first, so you can see the full picture of this amazing prayer. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The secret behind, "The Lord is my shepherd." Now, here's where it gets really exciting. When David wrote, "The Lord is my shepherd," he wasn't just using nice words. He was revealing the most powerful truth about God's character. You see, David had been a real shepherd. He spent years taking care of sheep in the hills around Bethlehem. He knew exactly what a good shepherd does. A shepherd doesn't just watch sheep from far away. Oh no, a real shepherd lives with his sheep. He knows each one by name. He knows which sheep likes to wander off, which one gets scared easily, and which one needs extra help. The shepherd protects his sheep from wolves, bears, and lions. He finds the best grass for them to eat and the cleanest water for them to drink. But here's the amazing part. David discovered that God treats us exactly like a perfect shepherd treats his sheep. God knows your name. He knows your fears, your dreams, and your struggles. He knows when you're feeling lost or scared. And just like a shepherd never abandons his sheep, God promises to never, ever leave you alone. When you really understand that God is your personal shepherd, everything in your life starts to change. Let me explain why this is so powerful. First, sheep are not very smart animals. They can't protect themselves from danger. They don't know where to find the best food or the safest places to sleep. But that's okay, because they have a shepherd who is smart, strong, and loving. He takes care of everything they need. This is exactly how God sees you and me. We don't have to be perfect or super smart. We don't have to figure out everything by ourselves. We just need to trust our good shepherd to guide us and protect us. Second, a shepherd's job is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real shepherds in David's time didn't take breaks or go on vacation. They were always watching, always protecting, always caring for their sheep. This means that right now, as you're reading this, God is watching over you. When you go to sleep tonight, He'll be watching over you. When you wake up tomorrow, He'll still be there. Third, shepherds in Bible times were willing to die for their sheep. If a lion or bear came to attack the flock, the shepherd would fight with everything he had to protect them. David himself killed both a lion and a bear to save his sheep. This is exactly what God has done for us. He was willing to send Jesus to die on the cross so that we could be saved and become part of His flock forever. Now, here's the practical part that will change your everyday life. When you wake up each morning and say, "The Lord is my shepherd," you're not just saying words. You're declaring a powerful truth that activates God's protection and provision in your life. Think about it like this. If you were a sheep and you knew you had the strongest, wisest, most loving shepherd in the world taking care of you, would you worry about where your next meal was coming from? Would you be afraid of the dark? Would you panic when storms came? Of course not. You'd trust your shepherd completely. This is the secret power of starting each day with, "The Lord is my shepherd." It reminds your heart and mind that you're not alone in this world. You have the Creator of the universe as your personal caretaker. He's promised to provide everything you need, protect you from harm, and guide you to the best places for your life. Here's what makes this prayer so special. It's based on promises that God has never broken. For over 3,000 years, people have been saying, "The Lord is my shepherd," and God has faithfully taken care of every single person who truly trusted Him. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy. Even sheep sometimes have to walk through scary valleys or face difficult situations. But it means that no matter what happens, you never have to face it alone. Your shepherd is always right there with you, protecting you, guiding you, and loving you. When you make "The Lord is my shepherd" your daily prayer, you're tapping into a power that has helped people survive wars, overcome sickness, find peace in difficult times, and discover joy even in the darkest moments of life. As we end this first chapter, I want you to try something. Tomorrow morning, as soon as you wake up, say these words out loud. "The Lord is my shepherd." Say it with confidence. Say it with faith. Say it knowing that the God who created the stars, the mountains, and the oceans cares about you personally and wants to be your shepherd. But that's just the beginning. In our next chapter, we're going to explore the incredible promise that follows. "I shall not want." You're going to discover why this promise is so powerful that it can eliminate worry from your life forever. We'll also uncover the secret meaning behind green pastures and still waters, and how these can bring supernatural peace to your daily life. The journey we're taking together through Psalm 23 is going to transform how you pray, how you trust God, and how you face every challenge in your life. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because what's coming next will absolutely amaze you. Remember, you are not just any sheep. You are a sheep that belongs to the Good Shepherd, and that changes everything. What if I told you there's a Bible verse that can completely eliminate worry about money, food, and everything you need in life? We're going to explore 3 words that have the supernatural power to destroy worry, fear, and anxiety about your future forever. These 3 words are, "I shall not want." But before we dive into this mind-blowing secret, I need to tell you something that will shock you. Did you know that the average person worries about money, food, and basic needs for about 2 hours every single day? That's 730 hours per year. That's like spending an entire month of your life just worrying. But King David discovered a secret that can end all this worry in just one sentence. The revolutionary promise, I shall not want. When David wrote, I shall not want, he wasn't just hoping for good things. He was declaring one of the most powerful promises in the entire Bible. But here's what's incredible. Most people completely misunderstand what this promise means. They think it means, I will get everything I want. But that's not what David meant at all. The real meaning is much more powerful than that. When David said, I shall not want, he meant, I will never lack anything I truly need. You see, there's a huge difference between what we want and what we need. A little boy might want candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But what he needs is healthy food that will help him grow strong. A good parent gives the child what he needs, not everything he wants. This is exactly how our Good Shepherd treats us. He promises to give us everything we truly need, even if it's not always what we think we want in the moment. The secret behind God's perfect provision. Now, here's where this gets really exciting. When David was a shepherd, he had to make sure his sheep had everything they needed. He couldn't just leave them anywhere. He had to find the right place with the right grass, the right water, and the right protection. But here's the amazing part. Sheep never worry about their next meal. Have you ever seen a sheep lying awake at night, stressing about whether there will be grass tomorrow? Of course not. They trust their shepherd completely to provide for them. This is exactly the kind of trust God wants us to have. When we truly believe that, the Lord is my shepherd, we can also say with complete confidence, I shall not want. We don't have to worry about tomorrow because our shepherd is already preparing everything we need. The magic of green pastures. Now let's explore the next incredible part of this psalm. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Wait a minute. Did you notice something interesting? David didn't say, He lets me lie down. He said, He makes me lie down. Why would a shepherd have to make his sheep rest? Here's the fascinating truth. Sheep are actually very stubborn animals. Even when they're tired, hungry, or stressed, they often refuse to rest. They keep walking around looking for something better, something more. Sound familiar? This is exactly what we do as humans. We keep running around, working harder and harder, always looking for the next thing that will make us happy. We refuse to rest because we think we need to do everything ourselves. But our Good Shepherd knows better. Sometimes He has to make us stop and rest. He brings us to green pastures, places of peace, provision, and restoration. These green pastures aren't just physical places. They represent times in our lives when God forces us to slow down and receive His blessings. The deeper meaning of green pastures. Now, here's something that will blow your mind. In the desert areas where David lived, green pastures were extremely rare and precious. Most of the land was brown, dry, and rocky. But shepherds knew secret places where the grass grew thick and green. These green pastures weren't easy to find. The shepherd had to know exactly where to look. He had to plan ahead and lead his sheep to these special places at just the right time. This is exactly what God does for us. He knows secret places of blessing that we could never find on our own. He knows exactly when we need rest, encouragement, or provision. And He leads us to these green pastures in our lives at precisely the right moment. Your green pastures might be the unexpected phone call from a friend when you're feeling lonely, a job opportunity that appears just when you need it, a moment of peace in the middle of a busy day, a solution to a problem that seemed impossible, a feeling of God's love that fills your heart when you're sad. The secret of still waters. Next, David says, He leads me beside still waters. Now, why didn't David say rushing waters or flowing waters? Why specifically still waters? Here's the incredible truth. Sheep are afraid of fast-moving water. They can't swim very well, and they panic when they hear water rushing quickly. But they love calm, still water where they can drink safely and peacefully. Our Good Shepherd knows that our souls need still waters too. In our busy, noisy world, we need quiet moments where we can hear God's voice and feel His peace. These still waters represent times when God calms the storms in our hearts and minds. But here's the secret. These still waters don't just happen by accident. The shepherd has to lead the sheep to them. This means that God actively works to bring peaceful moments into our lives. He doesn't just wait for us to find peace on our own, He leads us to it. He restores my soul. Now we come to one of the most beautiful promises in the entire Bible. He restores my soul. The word restore here is incredibly powerful. It means to bring back to life, to heal, to make new again. When David wrote this, he was thinking about sheep that had become weak, sick, or injured. A good shepherd doesn't abandon these sheep. Instead, he carefully nurses them back to health. This is exactly what God does for us when we're hurting. Maybe your heart has been broken. Maybe you've made mistakes that make you feel ashamed. Maybe you're feeling tired, discouraged, or lost. But here's the amazing promise. Your Good Shepherd specializes in restoration. He takes broken hearts and heals them. He takes tired souls and gives them new energy. He takes people who feel lost and helps them find their way again. A real-life story of restoration. Let me tell you about a man named John who experienced this restoration in an incredible way. John had lost his job, his house, and felt like a complete failure. He was so discouraged that he stopped praying and almost gave up on God. But then John remembered Psalm 23. He started praying it every morning. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Within 3 months, something amazing happened. John found a new job that was even better than his old one. He discovered new friendships and a church family that loved him. Most importantly, he felt God's peace and joy return to his heart. His soul was completely restored. The daily power of these promises. Now, here's how you can apply these incredible promises to your daily life. Every morning when you wake up, declare, "The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want." This isn't just positive thinking, it's activating God's promise to provide for you. When you're feeling stressed or worried, remember that your shepherd wants to make you lie down in green pastures. Ask Him to show you where your green pastures are today. It might be a few minutes of prayer, a walk outside, or a conversation with someone you love. When life feels chaotic and overwhelming, ask God to lead you beside still waters. These might be quiet moments in your car, a peaceful time before bed, or even just a few deep breaths while remembering that God is with you. When you're feeling broken, discouraged, or tired, claim the promise that God restores your soul. He doesn't just fix what's broken. He makes it even better than before. The path of righteousness. David continues, "He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake." This is where it gets really exciting. The word paths here doesn't mean roads or highways. It means the exact right track to take. When shepherds moved their flocks across the countryside, they had to choose the safest, best routes. One wrong turn could lead to danger or getting lost. Our Good Shepherd knows the exact right path for your life. He knows which choices will lead to blessing and which ones will lead to trouble. And here's the incredible part. He doesn't just tell you which way to go, He leads you there. But notice why He does this. For His name's sake. This means God's reputation is connected to how well He takes care of you. He wants to show the whole world what an amazing shepherd He is by blessing your life abundantly. Get ready for the ultimate test. As we end this chapter, I need to prepare you for something incredible that's coming in chapter 3. We're about to explore the most famous and powerful verse in all of Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. This verse contains the secret to being absolutely fearless in the face of any danger, any problem, or any challenge. You're going to discover why David was so confident that he could walk through the scariest place on earth without being afraid. But that's not all. We're also going to unlock the mystery of God's rod and staff, and how they provide supernatural protection and comfort. You'll learn about the incredible table that God prepares for you in the presence of your enemies, and why your cup overflows with blessings. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because what's coming next will give you the courage to face anything life throws at you. Remember, you are a sheep that belongs to the Good Shepherd. You shall not want. He is leading you to green pastures and still waters. He is restoring your soul right now. And He is guiding you on the perfect path for your life. Trust Him completely, and watch what amazing things He does. What if I told you there's one Bible verse that can make you absolutely fearless in the face of any danger, any problem, or any enemy for the rest of your life? Welcome to the final and most powerful chapter of our incredible journey through Psalm 23. We've discovered the life-changing power of having God as our shepherd and His promise that we shall not want. But now we're about to unlock the greatest secret in the entire psalm, the secret to being completely fearless no matter what happens in your life. We're going to explore the most famous verse in all of Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. But here's what will absolutely shock you. This verse isn't really about dying at all. It's about living with supernatural courage every single day of your life. The valley of the shadow of death. When David wrote about the valley of the shadow of death, he wasn't talking about a scary place where people go to die. He was describing the real valleys that shepherds and sheep had to walk through in the hills of Israel. These valleys were narrow, dark, and dangerous. Wild animals like lions, bears, and wolves would hide in the shadows, waiting to attack the sheep. The paths were rocky and steep. One wrong step could mean falling off a cliff. These valleys were so scary that they were called death valleys, because many sheep and shepherds had died there. But here's the incredible part. Even though these valleys were terrifying, shepherds still had to lead their sheep through them. Because on the other side of every scary valley was something beautiful, fresh grass, clean water, and safe places to rest. This is exactly like our lives. Sometimes we have to go through scary, difficult times to get to the good things God has planned for us. But here's the secret that changes everything. We don't have to walk through these valleys alone. The power of even though. Notice that David didn't say, "If I walk through the valley." He said, "Even though I walk through the valley." This means David knew that difficult times would definitely come. But he also knew something that made him absolutely fearless. David discovered that the difference between being terrified and being courageous isn't whether scary things happen to you. The difference is who walks with you when they do. When David was just a young shepherd boy, he had to walk through dangerous valleys many times. But he learned something incredible. When you have a strong, wise, loving shepherd walking right beside you, even the scariest valley becomes just a path to something better. The secret of God's presence. Now here's where this gets really exciting. David says, "I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Not, you are watching me from heaven, or, you are thinking about me. He says, you are with me. This means that when you're going through the scariest, most difficult time of your life, God doesn't stay far away where it's safe. He comes down and walks right beside you, step by step, through every dark valley. Let me tell you about a little girl named Maria who learned this secret. Maria had to go to the hospital for a big surgery, and she was so scared she couldn't sleep. Her grandmother taught her to pray Psalm 23, especially the part about walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Every time Maria felt scared, she would whisper, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." And you know what happened? A supernatural peace filled her heart. She felt like someone strong and loving was holding her hand, even when she was all alone in the hospital room. The surgery went perfectly, and Maria recovered faster than the doctors expected. But because she discovered that when God is with you, even the scariest valleys become safe places. The mystery of the rod and staff. David continues, "Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Now, what are a rod and staff, and why do they bring comfort? A shepherd's rod was like a club, a short, heavy stick used to fight off wolves, lions, and bears. When dangerous animals came near the sheep, the shepherd would use his rod to protect them. The rod represents God's power to fight for you and protect you from anything that tries to harm you. The staff was a long stick with a hook at the end. Shepherds used it to gently guide their sheep and to rescue them when they got stuck or lost. If a sheep fell into a hole or got caught in thorns, the shepherd would use his staff to carefully pull them to safety. The staff represents God's gentle guidance and his power to rescue you from any trouble. Here's the incredible part. These tools don't just protect and guide, they actually comfort the sheep. When sheep see their shepherd's rod and staff, they feel safe and peaceful. They know their shepherd is ready to fight for them and rescue them. This is exactly how God's power should make you feel. When you remember that God has both the strength to fight for you and the gentleness to guide you, you can face anything with complete confidence. The table in the presence of your enemies. Now David says something that sounds absolutely crazy. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Wait a minute. If your enemies are right there watching, wouldn't you want to run away and hide? Why would you sit down and eat a meal where they can see you? Here's the mind-blowing truth. When God prepares a table for you in the presence of your enemies, he's showing the whole world that you are under his protection. It's like God is saying, this person belongs to me, and I'm going to bless them so much that even their enemies will have to admit that I am taking care of them. This isn't just about food. The table represents all the good things God gives you: peace, joy, success, health, and happiness. And he gives these blessings to you right in front of the people who thought you would fail. Your cup overflows. David continues, "You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." In Bible times, when someone was very special and honored, oil was poured on their head as a sign of God's blessing. This means that God treats you like royalty. He honors you and blesses you in ways that everyone can see. And your cup doesn't just get filled, it overflows. This means God gives you so much blessing that you can't even hold it all. You have more than enough for yourself, and plenty left over to share with others. Goodness and mercy follow you. Now comes one of the most beautiful promises in the entire Bible. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. The word follow here is really interesting. It doesn't mean that goodness and mercy are trying to catch up to you. It means they are chasing after you like faithful dogs who never leave their master's side. Imagine having two invisible friends named Goodness and Mercy who follow you everywhere you go. Goodness makes sure that good things happen to you. Mercy makes sure that when you make mistakes, you get forgiveness and second chances. These two friends have been following you since the day you were born, and they will never stop following you. Even when you can't see them or feel them, they are always there, working behind the scenes to make your life better. The forever promise. David ends with the most incredible promise of all. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This doesn't just mean that you'll go to heaven when you die. It means that you can live in God's presence every single day of your life, right here on earth. You can wake up each morning knowing that you belong to God's family, that His house is your home, and that His love surrounds you always. A real-life miracle. Let me tell you about a man named David, just like the psalm writer, who experienced the full power of Psalm 23. David had lost his job, his marriage was falling apart, and he felt like his whole life was in ruins. He was walking through the darkest valley of his life. But then David started praying Psalm 23 every single day. He declared that God was his shepherd, that he would not want, and that he would fear no evil because God was with him. Within 6 months, something miraculous happened. David found a new job that paid twice as much as his old one. He and his wife worked out their problems and fell in love all over again. His children, who had been distant and angry, started talking to him again. His cup truly overflowed with blessings. But the most amazing part was that David's enemies, the people who had gossiped about him and said he would never recover, had to watch as God blessed him abundantly. God had prepared a table for David in the presence of his enemies, and they could only stand there amazed at what God had done. Your daily power prayer. Now, here's how you can use the complete power of Psalm 23 in your daily life. Every morning, pray the entire psalm as your declaration of faith. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. When you pray this psalm with faith and understanding, you are activating every single promise God has made to you. You are declaring that God is your personal shepherd who will never leave you. You will never lack anything you truly need. God will give you rest and peace when you need it. Your soul will be restored and healed. You will be guided on the right path for your life. You will be fearless in the face of any danger. God will fight for you and protect you. God will bless you so abundantly that even your enemies will see it. Good things and forgiveness will chase after you all your life. You belong to God's family forever. The challenge that will change your life. Here's what I want you to do for the next 30 days. Every single morning, as soon as you wake up, pray Psalm 23 out loud. Say it with confidence, with faith, and with the understanding you now have of what each verse means. I promise you this. If you do this faithfully for 30 days, your life will never be the same. You will experience God's peace, protection, and provision in ways that will absolutely amaze you. You will find courage you never knew you had. You will see God's goodness and mercy following you everywhere you go. But don't just take my word for it. Try it for yourself and see what happens. Your next steps. Before you go, I need you to do 3 important things. First, if this video has touched your heart and opened your eyes to the incredible power of Psalm 23, smash that like button right now. Your like tells YouTube that this message needs to reach more people who desperately need to hear it. Second, subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell. We have so many more powerful Bible stories and life-changing messages coming that will transform your faith and your life. You don't want to miss even one. Third, and this is the most important thing, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe it's a friend who's going through a difficult time, a family member who's feeling scared or worried, or someone who just needs to be reminded that God loves them and cares for them. When you share this message, you become a messenger of hope and healing, the promise that never fails. As we end this incredible journey through Psalm 23, I want to leave you with this final truth. Every single promise in this psalm is true for you right now. You are not just any sheep, you are a sheep that belongs to the Good Shepherd. You are loved, protected, guided, and blessed beyond measure. No matter what valley you're walking through right now, no matter what challenges you're facing, no matter how scared or worried you might feel, remember this: you are not alone. The Good Shepherd is walking right beside you, and he will never, ever leave you. Your best days are not behind you, they are ahead of you. God has prepared green pastures, still waters, and an overflowing cup of blessings for your future. Goodness and mercy are chasing after you, and you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So lift up your head, take a deep breath, and say it with me one more time: the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God bless you, and remember, you are loved more than you could ever imagine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this powerful message with someone who needs to hear it today.